Thank you, Matt. Women's Health Wednesday now, and today we're looking at the concerning rise in whooping cough cases across the U.S. The disease can be fatal for infants and other vulnerable individuals who are not vaccinated. And nearly 6 times as many cases have been reported nationally as of November 16th compared to the same time frame just a year ago. Dr. Erin Mall of St. Peter's Family Medicine joining us now with some important information. Doctor, thanks so much for coming in.
Oh, you're welcome.
I know that you have seen this increasing even in your own office, we were sharing.
That's right,
yeah.
Yes.
So talk to me first about exactly what pertussis or whooping cough is and how it's different from a typical cough.
So whooping cough is a bacterial infection, also known as pertussis. The organism that causes it is called Bartonella pertussis. The way it differs from common cold is that it starts as common cold, like symptoms, cough, congestion, runny nose, but it lasts actually more than 2 weeks. So if there is cough that is prolonged, lasting more than 2 weeks, we automatically put pertussis or whooping cough as our differential diagnosis. The 2 other symptoms that differentiate whooping cough from any other cold is that patients typically have what we call like episodic coughing, paroxysmal coughing. Patient would cough, 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 and then there is a period of when they inhale, they produce a sound which we call whooping.
Right.
More pronounced in kids. Also, you can see it in adults. So episodes of coughing, followed by a whoop, and then also some of these episodes of coughing can lead to vomiting as well.
We have those symptoms we can put up on the screen for everybody as well.
Yeah, so coughing, vomiting associated with it, prolonged cough more than 2 weeks, fever, low-grade fever, plus or minus. Some people would have it, some people don't have it, but this is what differentiates the whooping cough from.
Okay, so we know that coughing in general spreads germs, but how else can pertussis spread to others?
Pertussis is a droplet infection, spreads through coughing, sneezing, dirty hands, so hand washing is recommended, and close proximity with somebody who is infected, and droplet infection basically is the mode of transmission.
When you mentioned you were seeing more cases in your office, even though infants are most at risk here, you've actually been seeing adults.
Yes, that's correct.
And the reason is most likely they're getting the infection from their children.
Yes, that could be one of the reasons. And, infants are at risk, adolescents are at risk. Also, adults who are vaccinated can also spread the infection. Patients who are immunocompromised or smokers or a patient on chemotherapy, these are at risk population.
So you touched on it, but obviously prevention is all about the vaccination. So it's a series of vaccines that starts very, very young.
That's right.
Tell us more about that.
So in children, there are 5 series that kids would get as a routine, 5 series of DTaP, starting at month 2, 4, 6, and then 15 to 18, and then when they're between 4 to 6, that's the basic routine vaccination for pertussis. Then also in adolescent, they get a booster, and if somebody hasn't gotten vaccination as a kid, they can still get as an adult.
As an adult?
Yes, and then there is a 10-year period where they can get another booster for
if they are not vaccinated and they do get this, there are treatments available.
Absolutely, yes.
But for infants, it's very difficult, right? And that's the concern.
And for infants, it's important. That's why pregnant women are getting vaccinated between week 27 to 36, so they can transmit that immunity to the babies.
Yes.
And they are protected, from the get-go. Yeah.
So important. Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate your time. Got to wrap up, but you can find all of our Women's Health Wednesday segments online. Head to news10.com. Look for Women's Health under the Community tab. We'll be right back.